Hello everyone, I'm Ron Grant coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands. You're watching 284 Media. Today I'm joined by two of the Virgin Islands beauties. They are Mrs. Curve, Armoy James-Ibechem, and Surbhi Williams, Mrs. BVI Classique. Of course, these two ladies returned recently from Palm Springs for the International Mrs. Globe pageant. They both have two very powerful platforms for which they will be continuing to promote. We're discussing all things pageantry, but of course, the work of women in power, empowering each other. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Angie, how can I get my claims paid quick? Rent's due next week.
CG processes 99% of claims within 5 days. Remember when I was hang gliding with those goats? I caught a gust of wind and flew right into a moving car. Every appendage was in the cast, and they paid fast and fairly. That's what I get for trusting a man with a mustache and an eye patch. Now I gotta go. I'm meeting the guy who bedazzled my toes.
99% of claims are processed within 5 days. CG Insurance. Good like that.
Well, am I covered?
Yeah, you're with CG. Remember when I was dabbling in knife-throwing bingo? Well, one night I won, but I also got a bullseye. No. In a beehive. I ran for hours. They caught me in the end, though. Anyway, I was covered, and I got to keep my trophy. Uh-oh.
Best medical cover for the price. CG Insurance. Good like that.
Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman by yours truly, Ron Grant, presents Season 6. Introducing Sheldon Frett, actor, film producer, writer. Daylon Vantapool, entrepreneur. Terrence Neal, creative director. Chad George, entrepreneur. Humphrey Liu, financial services professional. Jamali DJ Molly Thomas, sales manager. Kai DeCastro, entrepreneur. Dean the Sportsman Greenaway, journalist. St. Clair Steady Fleming, entrepreneur. Devon Cowell, brand specialist. Robert Green, footballer. And Rick S.S. Grant, author. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, coming June 5th, exclusively on 284 Media, inspiring a generation of greatness. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. As promised, I am joined by Mrs. Surbhi Williams and Mrs. Armoy James-Ibechem, the Mrs. Curve, Mrs. BVI Curve, and Mrs. BVI Classique. Ladies, welcome to the platform. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us.
There's a lot of titles, a lot of terms here I'm getting used to, but I want to, first of all, congratulate you both on the remarkable job you've done, not only representing the WIN BVI Foundation, but most importantly, the British Virgin Islands.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. You have both received some awards. Mrs. Williams, I'm going to begin with you. You won Song of the Year and Life Legacy Award. And Mrs. Ibechem, you won the second runner-up in addition to the Commitment Award.
Yes.
I'll start with you, Mrs. Williams. Tell us about your experience at the recently held International Mrs. Globe pageant.
It was a good experience. Learning experience. I am very much new to pageantry. This is my first pageant I've participated in. Prior to that, going to pageantry was something like 1995.
Okay.
So you see how this is for me. But it has been a learning experience, wonderful experience, simply because I have been going through it with two wonderful ladies in our court. Of course, Miss Ibechem, Mrs. BVI Curve, and then Miss Rhonda Pinnock, who is Mrs. BVI Globe. They've been very supportive. The WIN BVI organization has been supportive as well. And while we were away, the WIN organization, they really had their program together, and we had a really, really good experience.
Wonderful. And what about yourself?
So for me, this was not my first pageant. I am a pageant freak. So I've been into pageants before, Miss Reform and Prince and Princess, but those were many moons ago. I've been a chaperone. And so this pageant was just like another one for me. I think the biggest difference was just the amount of women and the fact that it was international. It's my first international pageant. And, you know, it was a good experience being away from home and just being able to make an impact and, you know, bring my community with me. So it was good.
What would you both say has been your biggest takeaway from this experience overall?
I will start from the beginning. I would say, for me, the preparation. When the WIN organization ensured that we were prepared before we left here. So we had one of the best poise and posture instructor, Miss Gilda. She's just marvelous.
Wonderful.
Who prepared us with regards to that, walking, how we should sit, smile, poses.
Just showing up.
Just showing up as your best self. She was really, really good. And then we had preparation with makeup, because when we go there, we didn't have a makeup artist.
Understood.
They do provide makeup services, but you know, it was best for us to be prepared when we went there. And we had one of the best makeup artists on the island, Akima Crab, who again, we had a number of sessions with her in preparation for that. My biggest takeaway, in addition to those, the preparation, because now I can walk like a queen at all times. And
now you're prepared.
Literally. And look like a queen at all times. We have developed relationships with women from all over the world. From as close to Grenada. And as far as Australia, we would say Asia, Malta.
Maybe South Africa the furthest.
South Africa. Yes. So we have sisters all over the world.
Beautiful.
And those ladies were awesome. None of them were crabby. We developed really, really awesome relationships with them. I am now in contact with like 3 or 4 of them who I speak just this morning. One was preparing to go to another pageant. She was at the airport when she messaged me. So, you know, that is my greatest takeaway.
The sisterhood.
Yeah,
wonderful.
The sisterhood.
And yourself?
I would have to agree in terms of the sisterhood. It was really just amazing to see so many women come together. You know, people say when they have a lot of women in a room, you know, it causes confusion. But actually, that time of being around so many women in Palm Springs was actually really great. And so I would say the sisterhood is my biggest takeaway from the pageant. It was just, you know, it was just great.
Exceptional. Now, during your reign, of course, you both have platforms, and I'm going to start with you, Mrs. Ibechem. Your platform is PCOS Awareness, and Mrs. Williams, yours is Women Empowerment. Explain to us what that is and why you chose your platform.
So, when I decided to say yes to being a WIN ambassador, we were tasked with having a platform. And for me, I really wanted to ensure that I was bringing myself when speaking, you know, when going through this journey. And so PCOS is something that I live with. It's something that I have to endure. It's something that I fight on a daily basis. And so I decided that, you know, I would be the voice for women in our community who may be suffering in silence or who just want someone to speak to. And so for people who don't know, PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it is a condition that affects the reproductive health of women. So the biggest, I guess, side effect of PCOS is infertility. And so not everyone who has PCOS suffers with infertility, but it is the biggest, downfall to it. And so it's not curable, but it is treatable. And that's what I wanted to focus on in terms of it being my platform, just showing women how they can manage their symptoms, how they can treat it, and just how they can get their life back on track. I also wanted to ensure that women are encouraged, because PCOS is very tasking, especially on your mental health. And so, you know, I wanted to ensure that women knew that they had a safe space in me to be comfortable to share. You know, it's hard to speak about your reproductive health. It's hard to speak about ovaries. It's hard to speak about menstruation in public. And so I wanted to ensure women were comfortable. I wanted to ensure I broke stigma along with it, and just, you know, be that voice for women.
Well, allow me to be the first, if I am, to thank you so much for not only sharing your story by the promotion of the platform, but most importantly, doing it with the most poise and grace. I appreciate that. And of course, women empowerment. Who are some of the women you're surrounded by, whether past or present, that have empowered you? And why did you choose the platform?
Okay, so let me think about women quickly. My grandmother, my aunt. Those are persons close to home. I have a family of mostly women who empower me as well. I have persons in primary school, like my primary school teacher, Evelyn Savey. I haven't spoken to her in a long time, but she was one powerful leader. High school, Arlene Smith-Thompson. She was one of the most memorable teachers that I had in high school. And, you know, there are so many more ladies in the community that I look up to. Lorna Smith. There's another one that slipped in my head. I could see her face in my mind right now. But so many other women in the community that are, you know, I consider them to be leaders and they empower other women in the community. Why I chose it? Again, like Armoy, I wanted to do something that was close to home. I'm an HR consultant professional, and through my professional journey, I realized that there were certain things missing in my journey. For example, mentorship. I didn't necessarily have someone who I could go to with regards to what's the next step in my professional journey. So, you know, I wanted to use this platform as a way of creating ways or methods or workshops in which that women and men can come together and discuss, you know, this is where I am now in my professional journey. How do I make the next step to becoming, a leader, or to, ensuring that I, get selected as a leader in an organization. The next thing is, I want to be a leader, but how do I show up? How do I show up as my best self, whether it's professionally or in an interview or in a community? And the last one is, okay, yes, I want to make this step, but I'm doing it alone. Why isn't there anybody else around me to do this? So another part of my platform is mentorship, creating a mentorship program where persons can tap into other leaders within the organization. That's the reason why I chose
Exceptional. Well, I want to congratulate you guys again on representing the territory effortlessly. And we all watched, of course, and supported. And we're happy that you have returned home safely to continue to contribute. What would you both say is up next for you as you continue your reign?
Well, for me, my biggest thing coming up is the month of awareness. So PCOS month, we would say, is in September.
Okay.
And so that's where the most of my focus will be for now, just preparing for that month. I have a lot of activities in store, just to help to continue educating the public and educating, myself some more on the topic. So that's the biggest thing for me. We have some fundraisers that are coming up as well that we want the public to look out for. And just, I guess, showing up in the community, adding on to, my community service badge. I am a Rotarian. I'm a past Rotaract, and so community service is something that I love. So it's just to continue that journey and just being out there for my community and making an impact.
Beautiful.
So for me, community service, that's one of the reasons that I did agree to become a WIN ambassador, to get in that community service throughout the year. Two, my next fundraiser would be, fundraiser I would call it, is the launching of the WIN Song of the Year. I've sung it away, but I don't think the community has really heard it, so I plan to have a launch soon. In addition to that, I have two other fundraisers that I would like to hold. One is a leadership workshop, and the other one is an empowerment conference.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait to hear the song because I haven't as yet. But before you ladies go, for persons who may not be aware of the WIN BVI Foundation, you're both ambassadors for this organization. Can Miss Williams, can you tell us about the WIN BVI Foundation, and for persons who may be in need of the services or perhaps want to contribute by giving back, women want to give back to other women, how can they do so?
Okay, so the WIN organization is Women in Need organization. It's a local organization that caters to, as it said, women in need. So the organization currently has two programs.
Understood.
So they meet every Tuesday where they discuss different subjects, parenting, interview skills, anything that would empower these women to show up as their best selves in the organization. Those sessions are held.
They also provide childcare services at that event as well for kids.
In addition to that, the program also provides an IT program for children of those women who may not have access to computers to do their homework,
Yeah.
Okay.
internet. I'm not sure who is the service provider, but the program provides that kind of stuff. If you do want to contribute, or whether it be funds or
Good time.
your time or physical stuff, you can contact Mrs. Alicia Green. We are on Facebook as well as Instagram.
Yes, and you can contact the website as well. It's winbvi.org, I think it is.
Yeah.
And there's a donate button there, but also we encourage people to give their time as well.
Of course.
Each one teach one and help one. So I think that's the biggest thing for WIN as well.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you again. It's so good to see both of you, and I continue to look forward to some of the projects and activities as well as fundraisers that you will bring to the BVI community. And don't forget that song. I want to hear the song. And viewers, that is all the time we have. Of course, we have been joined by the lovely Mrs. Armoy James-Ibechem and the lovely Mrs. Surbhi Williams, of course, representing the British Virgin Islands, not only locally, but across the global stage. And of course, representing us with poise, grace, and elegance. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye-bye.